Good morning, first and second graders. Welcome to part 2 of our Subtraction with LEGOS series. Today we are going to review a little bit of what we did Monday, and then we are going to talk about something new called regrouping that sometimes we have to do when we get to those trickier subtraction problems. Just as a reminder, we are continuing to use our RDW strategy to read, draw, and write while we solve problems, and we are also going to still be using our online base 10 blocks, which should be linked into your directions, but if not, I'll show you the URL here in a minute. Okay, so first we are going to look at a problem that's probably pretty similar to what you guys did Monday. Okay, so as I read this problem, I want you guys to be thinking about which numbers are important, and I want you guys to try and make some sense of what we're supposed to do. So this one says, Adeline has 2 Lego sets. The Toy Story set has 29 pieces. The Pilot set has 20 pieces. How many more pieces does the Toy Story set have? Okay, so I'll give you a second to think about what important information they gave us. I'm going to grab a marker. All right, so the first number I noticed that it gave us is 2. It says Adeline has 2 Lego sets. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be important to our problem, but it does tell us that we need to be looking for some more information about those 2 sets. The next sentence says the Toy Story set has 29 pieces, so that's probably going to be important. And then the Pilot set has 20 pieces. It's important as well. And then the question says, how many more pieces does the Toy Story set have? And I always like to look for clue words that our problem gives us. And this one gives me the clue word of more. So it says, how many more pieces does the Toy Story set have? And since it wants to know how many more in that set, I know that I need to find the difference between 29 pieces and 20 pieces. And if I'm finding the difference, I know I'm going to be needing to do subtraction for this problem. Okay, so I've made sense of it. I have read and I circled, so I'm going to go ahead and check off step 1. My next step is going to be drawing. Again, we're going to use those base 10 blocks, but before we draw, I want us to think about a game plan for that. So like I said, we are going to be taking away 20 from 29. And to do that, we're going to draw the number 29, and that number is going to have 2 10s and 9 ones, or sometimes we say 2 longs and 9 units, and then eventually we're going to take away those 2 longs. Okay, so we're going to start by building our number 29. I'm going to hop over to our base 10 blocks. Again, here is the URL if you want to type it in to find it. But to build the number 29, I first know that I'm going to need to grab 2 10s, and then I need to grab my 9 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now that I have built the number 29, I now know I need to take away my 20 or my 2 10s. This problem makes it super easy. All I need to do is take away my 2 longs and count up how many Lego pieces are left. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the Toy Story set has 9 more pieces than the Pilot set. So I'm going to go ahead and write my answer for my third step. And then I can go ahead and check my steps off because I have drawn, I have written, and last thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and check my answer. I've already set up my subtraction problem over here, so I'm going to check my work. If you have 9 ones and you take away no ones, you still are going to have 9 left over. And then if you have 2 10s and you take away 2 10s, take away everything you have, you're going to have 0 10s, which again, your answer is going to be 9. Okay, so the Toy Story set has 9 more pieces than the Pilot set. Okay, so that was some review from Monday. I hope you guys understood that based on the last lesson. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to look at 2 problems and talk about what happens when you go to subtract a number and you don't have enough to take away. Okay, you never have to panic. We are just going to work on something called regrouping. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have us do is look at this problem right here. It is 22 minus 2. Now, if you were just normally doing this problem, as I would, Normally we just start at the right. We start by subtracting our 1s. So if you have 2 1s and you take away 2, you'd have no 1s, right? So you'd have 0, and then if you had 2 10s and you're subtracting nothing, you're still going to have 2 10s. So you would get the answer of 20 for this problem, okay? This should seem pretty normal to you. We've done quite a bit of this. Now, if you look at 22 minus 3 and you try to do this one just like we did the last one, you might notice something different. So if you have 2 1s and you try to take away 3, you might notice that you can't really do it, right? You can't take away 3 when you only have 2. Can't eat 3 cookies when you only have 2, right? And so this becomes a problem for us. Now, sometimes people like to panic, but really you just need to think about, you just need to regroup so that you can do the subtraction problem. And here's what I mean by that, okay? If you think about it, this 2 right here represents the number 20, okay? Which means that it can also mean 2 10s put together, okay? So I am going to break down this 20 into a 10 and a 10, okay? So if I broke this down into 10 plus 10, I could leave 1 10 here, and then I could add 1 10 to this 2, right? So now it means that I would have 10 plus 12, which still equals 22. It's still the same value, it's still just the same number. I just rearranged it so that I could take away 3 from the number 12, okay? Now, if you don't understand that yet, it's okay because we are going to watch a video. We are still going to be talking about it. But what regrouping is just rearranging a number so that subtraction is possible, okay? So if I rearranged that 22 in this way, I can just take away 3 from 12 like I normally would. So if you have 12 and you take away 3, you have 12, 11, 10, 9. So you'd have 9 1s. And then you would bring down this new just 1 10 to get 19, okay? This is a 1 again because you moved one of the 10s from the 20 over to the 2 to make 12, okay? So that is called regrouping. Again, we're going to keep talking about it, so if you're a little confused, that's okay. All right, before we work on a problem about regrouping, I wanted to have us watch this one video that might make it a little bit clearer for us. So go ahead, this is about 2 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and watch this. If I can make it work. Maybe.
Hands were hanging in their chicken pen. 11 of them suddenly jumped over the fence. How many hands remain in the pen? To figure out the difference, we use subtraction. I say 0 minus 1 can't be done, cause the top number's smaller than the bottom one. So we regroup a 10 into 10 ones. When the top number's smaller in subtraction, I say 0 minus 1 can't be done, cause the top number's smaller than the bottom one. So we regroup a 10 into 10 ones. When the top number's smaller in subtraction.
19 hands remain in the pad.
There are 20 bumblebees flying around me. So I yell, shoot, and to decide to leave. Now how many bumblebees are chasing me? If we regroup, we can find the difference with ease. 0 minus 2, here's what to do, cause the 0 is smaller than the 2. So we regroup a 10 into 10 ones. When the top number's smaller in subtraction, I say 0 minus 2, here's what to do, cause the 0 is smaller than the 2. So we regroup a 10 into 10 ones. When the top number's smaller in subtraction.
18 bees are still chasing me.
Alright, so I hope that made it a little bit clearer for you guys, but again, we are just talking about what happens when you can't take away the bottom number from the top number because it's bigger. we end up regrouping a 10 into 10 ones so that subtraction is possible. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about it, we are going to work on one more problem today, and I'll let you guys go for the rest of the day. But here's our problem, okay? We are going to be using our regrouping this one, so make sure you pay special attention to our numbers today. So this one says Mario's Lego City starter set has 23 pieces. Luigi's Star Wars set has 17 pieces. How many more pieces does Mario's set have? So again, think about which numbers are going to be important to this problem. Okay, so I'm noticing that it first tells us that Mario's set has 23 pieces, and then it also tells us that Luigi's set has 17. And then it's asking how many more pieces does Mario's set have? So again, it's asking us how many more 23 is than 17, meaning we need to find the difference between those two numbers, which means we are going to be doing some subtraction. Okay, so we've completed step 1. We have made sense of the problem. We are now moving on to our draw step. Again, we're going to use those base 10 blocks, but first let's talk about our game plan. So we are taking away 17 from 23 to find out the difference between them. And so we're first going to start by building this number 23. That means we're going to need to use 2 10s and 3 1s, and then we are going to take away 17. Okay, so first we'll build that 23. I'm going to clear this for us. Okay, so 23 has 2 10s, and then our 3 1s. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 23. There's our first number. Now, if you look here, we are going to find a problem when we try to take away the number 17, right? Usually we take away the ones first, but if I'm looking, I only have 3 ones. I don't have 7. And so that's where this problem comes in, okay? Now, when we regroup, it's really swapping a 10 for 10 ones. So I'm going to show you exactly how I would do that, okay? Again, I don't have enough ones, so instead I'm going to swap this 10 out. And then instead, I'm going to bring out 10 ones. It's the same value, just broken into ones instead of a 10. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now I've swapped out this 110 for 10 ones. Again, it's the same value, but my number is going to be made up a little different. So if you notice, I have 110, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ones, okay? Now that I have 13 ones, can I take away my 7 ones? Think about that. Can you take away 7 now? I think you can. So I'm going to go ahead and drag away 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now I have taken away my 7. Now I'm taking away 17 and not just 7, so I need to take away 10 more. So I'll drag this away. And now I've taken away a 10 and 7 ones, which is 17. And so I just need to count up how many is left over to find my answer. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer is going to be 6 Lego pieces. I'm going to go ahead and write my answer. Okay, Mario's set had 6 more pieces than Luigi's. Okay, if I wanted to check my answer, I am going to show you again how I would regroup using my traditional subtraction setup, okay? So again, if I have 3 ones, I cannot just take away 7 as it is, right? Because if you have 3 cookies, you can't eat 7, okay? Just like in my picture, what I did was I instead traded one of the 10s from the 20 for 10 ones. So I crossed that out, I left 1 10, I turned 1 10 into 10 ones, so that instead of 3 ones, I had 13 ones. And then I am able to take away 7 from 13. So if I count backwards, I have 13, 12, 11, 10, Sorry, I messed up. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, so I had 6 ones. And then I have my 1 10. I took away 1 10, and I got 0 10, so that I had 6 more pieces left over. Okay, again, if this regrouping is still a little bit confusing, we are going to spend quite a bit of time working on it, so don't worry about it, okay? You can re-watch this video on YouTube if you want. It's called Subtraction Regrouping with Number Rock, if that helped you understand it a little bit better. But on your exit tickets today, just try your best, and we will continue working on this regrouping thing because it's pretty tricky, okay? Good job today, guys. I'll see you on Friday.